this week, Kyle. We're getting better. Episode 12. I guess we're starting to get in the groove here. Okay, here we are. Episode 12, a special episode brought to you tonight by our good friends down on Cumberland Street, Lube Monkey, Gary and his gang down there. They do a great job. They oil changes, everything for the racers. Get down there, support Gary. He supports one of our guests here tonight too. So yeah, get down to Lube Monkey, do your stuff down there. Wednesday is Ladies' Day. Get there tomorrow. All right, here we are.
Yeah.
Two big guests tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been looking forward to this one. So.
Yeah, lots of people. Yeah, we've had lots of texts and lots of people reaching out, and yeah, we got a couple heavy hitters.
Yeah,
for sure tonight. And we'll get to them in a minute, but
yeah, and just gonna do my spiel again.
Oh yeah, make sure you do it.
Everyone can like and share the video again. It just helps us out with views and traffic. We know there's lots of lurkers, so
yeah, we like that. There's lots of lurkers.
Yeah,
we're afraid to hit that like button, but do that. It helps us for sure.
Do we want that with it?
Yeah, we'll move it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, like and share. We have the YouTube page now.
Yeah, in the dirt on YouTube, so subscribe to that. Just get all the past videos and future videos on there after the fact.
Yeah, and yeah, like we said, we'll be moving everything to different platform here coming in the fall. So, let's talk a little bit about what happened last weekend. We had some drivers head down to the States. Oh, look, first Ogilvy.
Yeah, well, a couple of them were in Princeton, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shirosky and Yolaknik.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a rough goal, and then trucked over to Ogilvy.
Yeah, and we had Glenn Brown, Robert Squiddy,
Brink,
Hunter Brink, Tanner, Chernosky. Cole had another crummy draw. Moved up a bit.
Yeah. Tough.
Oh, that modified field there was. Yeah, that was a tough one. And our B-Mod guys, it's tough. And that's a tough place. You went there last fall.
Yep.
First time there for a couple of these guys, I think. And, well, Squiddy for sure. Brown and...
Brown goes there quite good. He likes it, yeah.
And Hunter Brink, he might have raced there once or twice last year.
And Colby Reed was in Rice Lake.
Yeah. Heat race wasn't the best, but then moved well up in the feature big time, I think.
Yeah, he got 7th. So.
Yeah, so a good run for him there. Another guy who I mentioned didn't see his name in the results was David Simpson, and you got a little backstory there.
Well, David Simpson, I think he made it to the Zuli's engine shop parking lot, and that was about the rest of the weekend. So
Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Yeah, I guess they had a failure on the hauler there and couldn't get a part in time, so that was that. And I don't think he's going down again this weekend. So
I read that he something in the transmission or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got a ride home.
Yeah.
So yeah, big deal there. And so yeah, here this week a little bit shorter of our little rumor section intro. We're gonna get right to the interviews here in a minute. We're gonna do the trivia brought to you by our buddy Johnny Stahl at Curbside Collection right away. And Kyle, let's see what you got for the trivia this week.
Okay, this week's trivia. Who was the? I didn't even tell you.
No.
Who was the first Midwest Mod winner at the history of the Thunder City Speedway? So that's September 2021. Who was it? Remember there was an invitational at the end of the year?
Yeah. Our first Midwest Mod winner. Was it?
It was 2 different winners that weekend. So. You can't answer.
I think I got it, but I can't answer. Someone's gonna get that one quick tonight.
One easy on them this week.
I would think it.
Yeah, that's probably who you think. Nothing yet.
Crickets.
Yeah.
You being the trivia master, it's like TSN there when the quiz master during the games. Come on, some of those
people are just like signing in.
No, that's what I thought.
So it's a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Who knows if it's even on the page yet? So
yeah. Midwest Mod.
I think we want me to repeat it for the
Yeah.
people will give you coming up. This week's trivia, guys. Who is the first ever Midwest Mod feature winner at the Thunder City Speedway, September 2021?
Ooh. That shouldn't be a stumper.
There was two different winners that weekend. One guy, actually, well, one guy I don't think he's racing this year. Won the second day.
Oh.
Yeah. Name one guy, no. Who it was.
Oh. That was the second.
So Mark Earl said Garrett Paul.
No, that was, he's close. That was the second weekend they had. June 2022.
Oh, so I was wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, this is the
John.
original. Huh?
No, nothing.
Was it?
First one, fall of 2022.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
that got everyone excited. when-
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Lamke Simpson.
Dave, you are. David Simpson.
It was David.
Yeah, David and Chastrik on the second day.
Really? And he's only went on to win 99% of the rest of them. Right?
Yeah.
95, yeah, he's struggling. Yeah, 95%, but that's, yeah, awesome. All right, here we go. We got an announcement coming up,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And we got track owner. So
and then we got the track owner coming too. So we got two big interviews coming here tonight, and let's welcome into the Sign Design Dirty Lounge, John Trevisanutto.
Hi guys,
Welcome, John. Thanks for coming.
thanks for having me. Good. Does this automatically run down?
Oh,
My week.
It depends.
There's no problem there.
For some people, it goes up. No,
Not me.
not me
Not
either.
me.
Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about how you got involved first in Thunder City, how that happened.
When I heard that Norm and Louie were getting involved with the track, and that's about 2 years before it opened, we went for lunch, and I said, if you're ever looking for a track sponsor, we're in.
Yep.
And of course, being the type of people that they are, they honored that, and so we've been really fortunate to be able to be, and very proud to be the track sponsor at Thunder City. It's great facility, great opportunity.
Okay, and then so your involvement in racing goes way back further than that, back to your dad. We sort of talked about it before.
I mean,
Tommy
you
Nesbitt.
know, I don't have much claim to fame with racing, but my dad sponsored Tom. I think the first time he sponsored Tom was around 65, 66, and I might be mistaken, but Dinger Bell worked with us, and he was a pit crew for Tom, I guess, and he asked my dad if he could help him, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think Tom was still in like a 55 or something Chev. It was a light blue one. That's all I remember. And then, of course, when Tom switched to the Studebakers.
that's right.
Yeah.
The half
Yeah,
on the side.
yeah, and
There's a car that comes up to the track every once in a while.
well, yeah, I had that done.
Okay.
Actually, Frank Rinn,
Yeah.
he's an old racer.
Yeah.
He did that car for me.
Okay.
And it's tried to replicate what Tom. So Tom's always been my hero. Always has, still is. I mean, I used to have a picture of that car with the checkered flag, and John Jones would stop in my office, and he'd always sit facing that picture,
Yeah.
and I'd just say, "See, John,
Yeah.
that's a real race car driver." But so yeah, and I've never lost the interest in it, but between family and business, never really had the time.
Yeah.
And probably not the skill either. So, you know, I recognize that. I couldn't do what you guys do, and I've always been very impressed. But I love the sport, always have. Try and get out as much as I can, or used to, and now I'm out all the time. to be honest with you, I'm happy when the season's over.
I think
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
usually
Usually
is.
that's
but-
what we are.
Yeah, we are by the time, excited to get it going, and then about 3/4 of the way through,
Yeah,
okay, this
yeah.
is almost over. Yeah,
It just seems to end at the
yeah,
right
yeah,
time.
just the right time. Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
torture.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm done. And then you,
Then
3 weeks
then you're
later,
bored.
yeah,
Yeah,
then
and
you're
then you're
bored,
bored,
and
and then you're
back
bored.
in the garage plugging away again, right?
Yeah, well, good
Okay.
for you guys.
Kyle, go ahead.
Well, yeah, you've talked, and then getting involved with the Speedway. Maybe talk about last year, the big special you tried to put on for the drivers, which was
Yeah, we were
cool to
lucky.
see.
We were lucky enough to share the June Invitational with Heartbeat Hot
Right.
Sauce for a few years, and I kind of pushed to do something different and bigger,
Yeah.
and I don't think it was a complete write-off.
No.
I think it was okay, and I thought it was a great weekend. And all I remember is the feature was awesome because it went flag to flag.
Yeah.
And you know, when you see a race with those kind of cars going flag to flag, you know it's top notch.
Yeah.
So I was very impressed. But this year, after I guess sponsoring it for 3 years, my sons, who pretty much look after the purse now because they know if they leave it to me, they're in trouble. We made a decision that we weren't gonna sponsor the invitational. We were gonna move in another direction. We didn't want to we still want to be involved
Yeah.
as a track sponsor. And so maybe I'm taking part of your
No.
thunder away.
We'll get to
But we all also thought about, you know, we get a lot of requests for sponsorship, and I get it. It's a tough gig out there, and you know, you'd like to say yes to everybody, right? You can't, and sometimes you know, like sometimes people think, well, you know, you should have sponsored me, you shouldn't sponsor them. So we made a corporate decision that we weren't going to sponsor anybody other than obviously our own team, CRT Racing. But we didn't want to just take that money out and not put it back in.
Right.
So we came up with a plan.
Yeah.
So this is the plan.
All right, yeah, well, let's get to the plan. Yeah, that's what
So
we're waiting
and
for.
you know, we've heard from people how tough it is, and we know how much it costs to race, and it's a lot of money. And I'll be honest, sometimes I wonder, man, how do these guys do it? You know, it's tough. It's a passion. So
So does my wife.
yeah. It's interesting. So what we came up with was a year-end. I'm calling it a points fund, but it's not really a points fund. And so basically, how it works is at the end of the year, at the banquet, we're going to do draws, and in order for you to get money. And what's going to happen is, we looked at it and we said, okay, the guys that finish in the top 10, they've made a few bucks through the season. There's a lot of guys from 11th down who really, they're not getting anything, right? Or not anything, they all get something. So we thought, okay, here's what we're going to do. So the parameter is anybody that ends up in 11th or lower for the end of the season. There's a couple qualifiers, obviously. You have to have participated in at least 10 race nights in order to qualify. 11th or lower in points for the 2025 series. So no top 10 drivers will qualify for this. Another very important thing is no CRT driver, regardless of where they finish, will qualify. Okay, my guys
Are not part of it.
they're not in the program. So there has to be a minimum of 5 cars, 11th and lower, in order for the class to be included.
Yeah, that should not be a problem.
No, I don't think so. Originally, I actually had it at 15, and then I moved it down to 10, and I said, well, let's go 5. So you have to have a minimum of 5 cars. If there aren't a minimum of 5 cars that meet the qualification of running at least 10 races, then whatever the prize money for that, at our discretion, will go to another class or be split between the other classes. Those are the biggest things I think to be aware of. So what we're going to do is at the banquet, we'll have the names of all those who are 11th and under that meet the criteria, again, of running at least 10 nights. That's the biggest part of the whole thing. I think there has to be responsibility on the part of the driver that he's going to show up. So A-Mod drivers, the 11th or under that we draw will get $3,500. The Superstock driver will get $3,000. We're going to do 2 Wasota modifieds. I think it's pretty simple to understand why we're doing that. There's so many guys.
Right.
So we're going to do 2 Midwest mod drivers at $3,000 each. We're going to do 1 street stock at $2,500 and 1 Hornet at $500.
Nice.
That's a total of $15,000 that we've decided to throw into the pot to hopefully help some of these guys that haven't had a chance to get a little bit of money back.
Yep.
Or had a little bit of a tough year.
Wow.
Or,
Yeah, absolutely.
Great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I fitted those parameters nicely. 2 B-mods. I'm licking my chops at that one right now.
I hope everybody can appreciate that we want to give back. I know that some people that we did sponsor might be a little disappointed, but it's just so hard. Who do you pick?
Yeah.
Who do you pick? So that's why we thought we'd do it this way.
Nice.
Yeah. And obviously, I did clear it with Norman Louis early on. Norm kind of alluded to it at the banquet because we had talked about it, and he's smart though. He knew I couldn't change my mind after he said that. So that's where we're at with it, and I'm going to make copies of this, and we'll have them at the track at the at the draw booth, and guys can pick them up and they can see what it is. And again, there may be some people who don't agree with how we're doing it, but we try to be as fair as we can.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going with this.
I like it.
Good.
Yeah. Best thing I've seen. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like I say, we still want to give back.
Yeah.
So another quick one. We should ask you this first.
No.
What do you think of our little show? What
I love it. I watch it every week. I've missed one.
Yeah.
I've missed one. So I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't get it, but that's okay. She tolerates it. But yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
We're fortunate to have the track we have and the owners that we have in Norman Louis, because from all the facilities I've been to, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's
so
right there.
we're so fortunate to have everything that's been lined up. And we're lucky.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have what we have.
All right. So now we got the announcement out of the way. Let's ask you a little bit about the coming year, your team.
CRT.
Yeah. Let's start there.
Absolutely. I think the biggest news is for the team in general is we've decided to work with Miller Engines out of he's south of Winnipeg. Dave has been phenomenal. So let's see, who's got new? Tanner has the A-Mod rebuilt, and that's how we got onto him. He bought that car from Heartbeat, and they had a Miller engine in it. To be honest, I'd never heard of them. Mm-hmm. And so we talked to him, and Dave was really good. And then we bought Colby a new engine, and we bought a new engine for Nathan, and we did a light rebuild on the one that Michael Shalley's going to be moving up. So Colby's back with the same Shaw car. He ran this past weekend. They had some problems in the heat.
Yeah.
Well, the car was starving for fuel. The good news was it was 9 o'clock. They called Dave. He answered the phone. He walked them through everything. they had a spare carb, they changed the carb, and Colby said, we got lots of power.
Yeah, it seemed
We
to
got
be,
lots
he moved
of
up
power,
pretty good.
so he was really pleased. So we're really excited. It's Canadian. And, you know, this other than, it's just the exchange of the dollar.
Yeah.
You know, it's huge. And if I have to get it there and back, you throw it on a transport, it's there the next day, and Dave gets on it.
Yeah.
So he's already shown us good support with Colby, and he really wants to get it pushed. So Colby's going to be running the same shock car, nothing major other than, well, the engine, I guess, is kind of major. And, you know, they went to these plastic panels on wherever they could go with the plastic panels. And
I have them, you have them too.
well, they say it's, especially on the quarters, evidently they work really well. And you can't run one on the driver's side, correct?
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
And if they get mangled up, you take it off and throw it in the sun, and it comes
Does
right
it?
back out.
Well, there you go.
It does.
And of course, Tanner Henderson, he bought Riley Matthews' old A-Mod Longhorn, and he worked hard all winter on it.
I stopped by the shop and
Oh, did
looked at
you?
it, and they were working on it.
Yeah, so he's, as a matter of fact, we worked out a bit of a deal with Dave Kane, who's been helping, and Dave is the type of guy where, okay, if you want my help, you're gonna do exactly what I tell you to do, and if you're not, I'm not helping you. So it works for us.
Yeah.
So I
Being a rookie, and being green,
and
exactly.
Tanner soaked stuff up, so he was down on the weekend, and Dave worked with him on setting the car up and as much as he could.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Nathan Henney is back in his street stock. I mean, Nathan had an
Ian
awesome
Priest,
year.
wow, what a
You know,
year.
ending up, I think he was 5th in points, which was incredible. So he's running a new Miller engine, and Dave says they're fast, so we'll see if he can keep up to the car. Great young kid. I mean, he's so excited. I was out there on Sunday, and he had to fire it up for me. And, you know, don't run it more than you have to. And Michael Shalley had a really good year last year, and to be honest, we were going to move him up into a street stock, but then when Tanner wanted to move out of Midwest Mod, we had that car, and as opposed to giving it away, and when we started pricing street stocks, well, it makes more sense for us. So Michael is going to join the tribe of Midwest.
I'm thinking it's got to be close to 50 weekly. It has to be right there.
Well, it's
high
somewhere
40s.
there.
Yeah, high 40s.
I mean, you go to an invitational down in Arizona, and they don't even get anywhere near that many.
Not what we get on a weekly basis.
It's crazy. Their invitationals don't get the cars that we get in a week. So we're very fortunate. I know Michael's really excited, and he and his dad used to race. Dave Shalley raced. And they're, you know, masters of detail. I mean, they're the only guys in Hornet I knew that were taking tire temperatures and because they're both engineers, right?
Engineers,
and so I'm really excited to see what Michael can do. We got lucky again. I mean, when we did the first draw years ago with Colby, you know, we couldn't have asked for a better family to be involved, and that was part of our criteria. Is it had to be and then Nathan's family. Nathan's dad, Nick, has worked with us for years. He's our lead tech.
Okay.
And that's why we didn't do a resume type of thing, because Nick said, well, my son's interested. Well, we look after staff first, right? And so Nathan but last year we did the same thing with Michael, where he applied, and again, that their family is right into it. His mom, his dad, his brother. So that's what we want, because this is a family sport. At least
100%.
Yeah. If
Monkeys,
you want,
you can just go on and on.
If you want to stay married and you want to have
you gotta keep her involved,
peace in the world, there's got to be a family event. So that's where we're at, and we're excited to get rolling.
Awesome. Do you go to the States
to watch?
Watch Colby
Oh
every now and then?
I've been down. I've been to Colby. I've been to Superior, of course, Rice Lake, Ashland, and Proctor.
Okay.
So yeah,
You've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I was in Proctor before you guys were born, so, I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's, when we went to the Nationals, was it 2 years ago? I said, like, you know, it was 50 years ago I started going down to watch races in Superior, so.
Wow.
You know, that's a long time ago, it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Like I
so,
said,
yeah,
before you
Tommy
guys
would have
were
been
around.
running back then, yeah.
yeah, he was running, that's for darn sure. So, yeah, we're excited about the new year, the guys are pumped, we're all ready to go.
Awesome.
Let's just get the weather and.
Yeah.
That's
This
right.
morning,
Today didn't
yeah,
feel-
today didn't feel like racing, did it?
did
Woke up this
not
morning and
feel-
wow.
Did not feel like it, but we'll be optimistic.
Yeah.
Hope for the best, so.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great job on the show, guys.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Hey,
you
John,
having me
thank
on.
you for coming
Thank
on.
you very much.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks. Well, here we go. Guest number 2 into the Dirty Lounge. A lot of people have been looking forward to this one too. Let's welcome Norm Nadin to the show. First of all, what do you think of the show? And you've seen it before.
Well, you know what, I think it's fantastic. It's nice to see that, it's promoting the racers, it's promoting the track, it's promoting, you know, an awesome sport in our city, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. And, it's exactly what the track could use.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proud of you boys.
No, thanks. That's, go ahead, Kyle.
Well, I don't know where we want to start, John.
Well, let's start at how
Yeah.
I remember you
Well,
first
we
in
can go
racing.
with the yeah.
Riverview Raceways. You had a bomber way back when.
Back in the day, yeah, and I had no time back then either.
Yeah.
You always make time
Yeah,
for
number
racing.
21, right?
Yeah, that was the car.
Did-
Yeah, good times. I mean, yeah, those are memories and friends that you make and you never forget. And you know, you go to our track now and you run into the guys.
Some
that
of the
I used
same
to-
faces,
for
yeah.
Sure, and it's awesome. It's a cool thing to be a part of. For
Yeah.
sure.
Did you ever? You won I remember you winning heats. Did you win a couple features? I believe.
Well, I did.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I remember, yeah.
I've won a few of them.
Yeah, I remember that way back when Jimmy Bolduc and I were first starting to go there, way 86, 87, somewhere 88, 89, around there.
Yeah.
That would have been it.
Oh, it was good times. There was, you know, even back then, I didn't have a lot of time for racing with business and everything, but you make the time for it for some reason. You know, you always scratch the dollars that you don't
Yeah.
have and the time you don't have, but there's something about racing and everybody just
Oh,
seems
yeah,
to
once it gets in,
make
yeah.
it happen for sure.
Okay, so the next question is, they have this facility being built, it's sitting, how did you get involved? Did you drive into the lot?
Well,
Richard Conter.
How did this start?
originally when Richard had a vision of putting a racetrack in there, he had absolutely no driveway to even get in there,
Oh.
right from the highway.
Yeah.
So he got a hold of my brother Louis and asked if we would maybe just spend a couple of days and at least get a driveway entrance in there so he can get off the highway.
Okay.
And I remember I went there on the weekend and Richard said, yeah, we're going to build a racetrack back there. And I thought, not in my lifetime. I've never seen a racetrack built in a swamp.
No.
Generally, you find a clay
Yeah.
pasture and you just scratch the grass off and let's go racing. So, with his vision of building a track out in the swamp like that, I'll be honest, I just never seen it happening. But you know, we in the business we're in, we have a lot of trucking power and stuff like that, and other companies helped also. And we just kept dumping and filling this swamp and filling this swamp, and sure enough, we got to the point that we almost have enough room to build a track, and sure enough.
Well,
we
Kyle
did.
and I put a ton of laps on that place. We came through there all the time and checking it out for
Progress.
years
Oh, yeah.
and years.
Oh
Progress.
yeah, we had lots of visitors along the
I
way.
probably got more laps on that track than anyone. I've been there since day one. Look, checking stuff out.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, we just, you know, we just wanted to build off of his dream. We didn't really want to get him.
How did it even happen?
Well, so what happened was after he started building, filling the swamp in, and he was at the point of building the track, I just didn't see it happening.
Yeah.
He didn't see it happening, and then he approached us and said, you know, if there's any chance of this racetrack being developed, do you guys mind maybe kicking in and stepping in? And so we partnered up with him, and the vision was to have the track opened up, I think the spring of 23, and
And you
then
got
Richard unfortunately got ill, so then we went into overdrive and tried to get a race in before he passed away. And unfortunately, he didn't get to see his dream come true, but I'm sure he's watching from up above. But yeah, I just felt like we were the horsepower he was missing to get that track going. We absolutely had no vision of this thing taking off the way it did. When it all took shape, we thought, you know, if we could get 60 race cars and 1,000 fans, well, hey, we're off to the races. Well, here we are, 130 cars, and we're getting, you know, close to 3,000 people on Wednesday. We're very, very proud to be part of it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So that first year, the bleachers are being brought in. You're just it's not ragtag, but it's just kind of there. And then the overwhelming success of weekend one with the Simpsons and you guys, I think it just.
Well, the funny thing is, when we first got involved, we were scratching for some bleachers. We bought some from the baseball diamond.
Yeah.
And I remember Johanne Bass said to me, how many seats do you have? And I told her, I think we've got about 1,000 seats. And she said, well, what are you going to do with the other 2,000 people? I didn't even know what she was talking about. I said, not a chance. And sure enough,
That
the
first
Simpsons
weekend.
put on that invitational there that fall, and I think we got up near 4,000 people there. So I thought, wow, this is. I was out of racing for quite some time.
Yeah.
I didn't think, you know, we could get that kind of momentum going so quickly like that, and it's just been no looking back ever since. It's been awesome.
Well, I don't know where to go. Maybe what throughout the last few years, what's kind of caught you by surprise, or what? We were talking before the show, like you got a camp, but maybe tell the people how much time you do spend out there.
Well, if anybody comes driving out on a weekend, or you're looking for me, you know exactly where to find me.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to take that much time. I mean, my summers are pretty limited for time, as you know. That's when we make our hay, obviously, you know, with our business. But yeah, we just started building this track, and anything I tried to put my hands on, I wanted perfected. So I didn't realize it was going to take that much time, that much energy to, you know, get that track to that kind of standard. And so there pretty much went all my weekends and goodbye camp, and so I pretty much live out at the track. But it's worth every minute.
Yeah. Oh, you can see the fruits of your labor there. So
So first year we didn't have lights, and it was coming, and then you get the lights, and they're got to be as good or better than anywhere, right? Like it's bright. There's no. There's no way a guy could.
No, we didn't fool around where lighting was concerned. We got all the poles out of Texas. We got all the lights custom made out of Boston, and we wanted to make sure that we were going to do it once and do it right. And the feedback from the drivers, there's no shadows. There's
the lighting,
big bright lights in your eyes, and it's I think it's worked out very, very well.
So the track is what Richard. That was his design and the actual layout, or did you guys?
No, he just wanted it to be. He wanted it to be that size, 3/8 mile track, with a vision of having late models there.
Okay.
The actual banking and the concrete walls and the way it all ended up laying out, I kind of took over that part of it. He just wanted to make sure it was long enough that if we got some good fast cars there, well, our A-lines are pretty darn fast. So,
it's pretty quick, yeah.
So if you've been out to our track and you know as race car drivers, with the speed you get on the straightaways and our corners being a little bit on the tight side, it's quite a challenge. Yeah. But I mean, every racetrack has its challenges, right? So I think it makes it fun. And so yeah, the track's
I love the place. Coming out of 4 is a little scary.
Well, for sure. We've seen enough guys hit that.
Oh yeah. 4 is a little tight coming out. When you're at the bottom, I remember that invitational weekend when you put those flappers there or whatever. I had all 4 wheels, I think, below them on that one time, and they got to come on the radio. We got 99, get up there. That was a lot of fun though. The whole place is just unreal. Like, is this the vision you have, or is there more that you guys?
Well, we would like to probably get a go-kart track going in the back. We're talking in the future to maybe try to get some kind of a late model show there. We obviously don't have late models in Thunder Bay, or not enough of them anyways, but we're going to try to do something just to show the fans what other type of racing is out there, you know, just to add some added attraction. But the track, I think, where it stands right now, we're pretty happy with it. We wanna, any upgrades this year, we'd like to pave in front of the grandstands for the handicapped people. that are
Nice, that'd be real good.
with wheelchairs and stuff like that. So there's more to just the racetrack,
Yeah.
right? There's the public, there's the fans, the kids, the elderly people. So you want to make it a very homely, family-oriented place. So yeah, that's our focus this year, is just try to make things a little better for the fans. There's not going to be a whole ton of improvements to the track itself. We kind of added clay into that the previous year, so that should be the same as it.
So you had a post out last week or this week, some, a little, addition to, the admission for some, but then lower for the kids.
Right, so-
more than equals out probably, right?
Yeah, we've upped the fee for general admission, and then students, we've gone up a couple of dollars for entry fee. But for the 12 and under, we've reduced it to $5. And the thought behind that was, last year I was just talking to a lot of families, and they just love the event. They love coming out there, but by the time you bring your husband, your wife, maybe you have 2-3 kids, it just became a little bit unaffordable. And the one thing we really want this track to be is all about family. There's tons of grandparents out there and parents, and really the children are the future of that place, right? So we want to make sure they get a chance to come out and enjoy it. So that was our approach, was to try to lower the entry fee for younger.
And we talked before, the drivers and pit, that's staying the same.
That's all the same. That's not
Okay.
true. They're the show. We want to kind of leave that alone, and it costs
Yeah, there
enough
were
money
rumors
to-
out there.
That's,
that
good that you're getting that out there, because I swear I heard
Yeah, that was
something
more,
else. And I didn't know.
That's why that
I didn't know
rumors,
about, and I didn't know about the dropping of the 12 and under, which
Yeah.
is great, I think, 'cause
Yeah.
you hook the young kids at that age, and they wanna come,
Yeah,
or
they-
drag their parents, or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
Well, it's that. It's like I said. It's about the families that have 2-3 kids that do want to come out there every Wednesday and just can't afford it.
Right.
And we just thought, what can we do to help make
Yeah.
that happen? So that's our approach. Hopefully it works, and we see more people out there.
And then before I said it, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, because we get bombarded about guys asking us about the pay. Or whatever.
Yeah.
And-
So for this year, the pay's probably going to stay the same. I know our invitational events, we're obviously going to up the pay, and I want to make it clear to all the fans out there, all the race car drivers, whatever we make at that track, I am telling you, we put it all back. If we get more fans out there, we get another 400 or 500 people, 1,000 people, any revenue that's generated through people coming through the door is automatically going to get passed to the drivers. So we've kind of plateaued at where our attendance is, and until we see that go up a little bit, or we have to start increasing the entry fee, right, or the gate fee, well then, now we're gonna have a problem with, spectators not showing up. So right now, we're gonna just try to leave everything status quo, and hopefully, everybody will get by and get through it, and, I'll have to give you a lot more money, but we've put a lot of money into the track. I told you boys earlier, right now, we're having the track just basically break even, and whatever we make goes back to the track, back to the drivers. And if there's a surplus, it'll either be put into an invitational event, or, on a Wednesday, or maybe some other special feature. We're blessed that, we have unbelievable sponsors. If it wasn't for that, we probably wouldn't be able to pay what we do pay. And then we have, John Trevisanutto and his family, Halfway Motors, like, they always have our back. They didn't have to do this $15,000 they're putting on at the end of the year. They have their own race team going on, so they need all the money they can get.
Yeah, you have a lot of great.
Yeah, so they want to see this thing continue on too. So I mean, they're kicking that extra money, and so, like I said, they could give us that money to the track. We could take it and help us pay for the asphalt we're going to put down. That's not what we're about. It's about giving it back to the drivers, and some are blessed and they finish in the top 10, and some, well, maybe they never will. And so, we don't want to forget anybody. And so with sponsors like that, and the community coming together, I mean, the sea cans, like you guys have all seen the sea cans, obviously, like all that.
Was that your guys' idea? Whose idea was that? Where did that come from?
That's a good one.
Well, I'll tell you what. So the whole idea was I put one sea can on right beside the judge's tower there. And the whole idea of that was just for when I was up there, I wanna be able to see the track, I wanna see the pits, I wanna see if there was any trouble.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, basically, I'm up in a little tower to make sure everything's okay, and everybody's like, yeah, how do I get one of those? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I said, hold on a second, and I started thinking, maybe I'll bring in a sea cannon and see who's interested in one, and next thing you know, I just put the word out there, and everybody's like, wow.
You
how
can
do I
double
get
them
one?
up
How do
now.
I get
Yeah.
one? How do I get one? Well, now it turned into a village,
Yeah.
and that's another thing, unfortunately, and I'm gonna mention this too, but I never thought this was gonna happen, but sure enough, Impact came in there, and our taxes went through the roof because of it this year, so.
Oh, really?
So there's another fee that we're gonna probably have to chew up, but you know, like, yeah, our taxes were very reasonable, and now I think they're treating us like we got an apartment building there, and,
No, yeah.
so they came after us, they got us, but, yeah, those, sea cans are, what I like about them is there are a lot of families up there again,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah, I
pretty
spent
cool.
time on the Baylock one, they were
Yeah,
sponsor of
yeah,
mine, and they've been,
It worked out
Yeah.
very well.
great.
But just to do a little recap, that's the whole idea. Anything that we get brought in, we give back to the track, and I know a lot of people think that, you know, yeah,
Well,
right.
people
I'm
think,
sure,
yeah, they're
but,
yeah, wheelbarrows
just
of
come-
money every week.
Just
yeah.
come out and see what we put
Yeah.
into between Wednesdays, and, you know, the wages just between all our workers and equipment and fuel, and, yeah, it's a tough one, but hopefully everybody's happy, we just keep things going the way it is. I've seen other tracks,
Yeah, well,
I don't think they're throwing all their money into everybody, so I think we're kinda in line.
oh,
And maybe beyond, so as far as I've seen.
Okay, I got another important question. When's practice gonna be? Are we
Oh,
supposed to
yeah,
go
we are.
next week, or-
Good question.
We kinda talked about it
So-
before the show.
So we were close, we were thinking about most certainly being, you know, ready for next Wednesday. Of course, we got bombarded with all that rain last night. We do have some good weather coming up here
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so we are gonna try to attempt to get out there with the tractors and the sheep's foot and see, so before we officially say yes or no, it would probably be on Saturday, we'll give everybody the indication if we're a go or not. But it was probably about a week and a half ago now that we blew 2 feet of snow off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, the rain did help,
but these temperatures, like in the morning, like it's zero still, like.
Yeah,
you know,
like I woke up to winter this
Yeah.
day, so I mean, if we don't get some heat or some good wind or something like that, it's probably not gonna happen by Wednesday, but, we're just, you know, it doesn't take us long, we got a good track, we got good drainage.
Hey,
facility.
there is not another track like when David Allen hit the fence there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's lots of people. They shut it down for the night there. There was like a SWAT team came out there, an
Oh, yeah,
army of guys.
we got it dialed in pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe talk about the whole drainage system, the thought process behind the whole, because I think that, a lot of nights that saves the track.
And the pits,
And
yeah.
the pits being
Our
so
pits
good.
being like
No,
90% of the
yeah.
tracks
If you remember.
canceled because of pits.
Yeah, and not so much last year, but if you remember the previous year, I think it rained pretty much every Wednesday
Yeah.
up until 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I know every other track would,
Cancel at noon.
well, you know
10
what, it
a.m.
was funny, there was just a little shower one time when I was driving through Ashland, I was gonna go to the race, and they said, it's canceled, I said, canceled, it was like a 3 minute,
Yeah.
you know, little shower, and I
But the
said,
pits there, yeah.
and so, with the drainage system that we
Yeah.
have, all that water runs into the infield, it gets taken out of a drain pipe, and that was kind of a vision I had that, more so that, because I remember at Riverview, if you spun out and you went in the infield, so I didn't want any ponds in there,
Yeah.
but, you know, it was a blessing, cause now it drains our track rather quickly.
Yeah.
And so if we do get the rains, we're able to race the same day. But the first race of the year being like this, I mean, a lot of the frost is coming to the ground,
Yeah.
so it takes a little bit more work the first race. It's not just a matter of drainage, we do need some sun and some wind, and
Right.
if it dries it up, we'll be good to go. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was hoping for an extra week or.
Yeah, you're not the first one, you know what, no, we're putting the pressure on you.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be ready, but if not, for sure the week after, unless
Yeah.
keep getting snow, I don't know.
Yeah, we live up north and crazy things seem to happen here a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to ask Norm about the schedule this year, or
Yeah.
invitationals, what the thought process behind that.
Yeah, we're a week earlier this year on the
So,
June.
With the June one, we thought we would tie it in with Father's Day, we thought it'd be a nice,
Oh, okay.
nice little bonus for maybe the kids and the fathers to get out. We got a pretty decent show coming up, we're teamed up with Heartbeat.
Yeah.
And Hot Sauce, and so we're gonna put on probably a spectacular show, we'll give you a little bit more detail
Okay.
as the time comes on. We still have our fall invitational.
Yeah.
The
with
Thunder Bay
Thunder Bay
Truck Center.
Truck Center, that one's always a big one, and we did go down to, the banquet in Rice Lake last fall, and it sounded like a lot of Americans were gonna come up to it. They didn't wanna miss this one, cause the feedback that keeps
Oh,
coming
yeah,
back, it's been getting better and better all the time, so I think this event is just gonna keep growing. So, yeah, we're excited about that.
And you got the Superstock series coming in
Yeah,
August.
we have that in August, so yeah, things are looking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
And-
backing down.
Yeah, and there's talk of a late model show in the future at some point.
We tried to get one
That
this
challenge
year.
series would.
Yeah, we tried to get one this year, but I think it was a little rushed and we wanna do it right.
Yeah.
And so we're shooting for probably the following year.
Wow, that'd be cool.
That'd be neat.
That'd be really cool
Yeah,
to see that.
yeah.
And I'm sure those guys would want everybody wants to come and see it and see what it's about. See the hype, right? Everywhere I go,
Right.
and you
Yeah.
talk down there to anybody, they all. Anybody who races here goes back and says, "Yeah, you got to go check this out." It's
Yeah.
just the atmosphere.
Carnival.
Yeah, I say it's like the CLE coming to town every Wednesday.
Yeah.
You got the Midway on the side there.
Yeah.
It's,
Perfect,
yeah, it's like all the food vendors, all that stuff. It's like the CLE every Wednesday.
Yeah. They were quite impressed also, a lot of the Americans that travel down here, cause if we did get rain,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't a wash, we'd say, hey, we'll do whatever
Yeah,
it takes to pull this off. And so,
Yeah.
they saw that we did, and then the biggest compliment we got was the fact that, and you boys just kind of said it earlier, is the fact that you could actually walk out in the pits after a range, you can work on your
Yeah.
car, you're not laying in the mud. And
Yeah.
guys were telling me you guys are throwing bales of straw down and
Oh,
everything,
yeah.
trying not to tool or holler. I'm like,
Well, rubber boots. I remember that being the
yeah, so,
not out there. No, the pits are.
yeah,
They,
so
they might be the best.
Yeah.
Eh?
we've been told that.
I would venture to say that.
We've
Yeah,
been told
There's-
that.
yeah, they're unreal. Well, what do you think? Pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, this is awesome. I want to thank you guys for having
Yeah,
having me out,
yeah.
and
We're gonna work on something. I talked to Kyle about in the dirt on the Thursday nights of the
Oh, yeah.
Invitational, right at the track, and I mentioned practice, and Norm sort of half-heartedly maybe agreed. We'll see if something like that, because the Americans, they like to come on the Thursday or whatever.
yeah, we'll see if we can work it out with
Yeah.
our with the people, the staffing and
Yeah.
stuff like that. If we can make it happen. I know it's always nice to be able to try your car out before a race if you have problems.
Yeah.
You got a chance to.
I do got one more thing actually. The concert you had the fall for the Invitational was a Thursday night.
Yeah.
I thought that was a neat deal. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. That was an idea Dave Mack had.
Okay, yeah,
Under the
yeah.
Truck
Yeah.
Center. He thought that it would be a good way to kick off and try to get
Yeah,
people out
right,
there and
yeah.
enjoy the evening. Get a little bit
Yeah,
of
so a little
fellowship
practice
going.
before the
Yeah.
show,
Right.
the band, could be a great night.
Yeah, we just want this thing to keep growing.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah.
all about, and we're blessed that we have great racers. You know, you guys
Yeah.
are awesome. I mean, we've had really no issues whatsoever, and the most important thing to us is that everybody goes home safe and don't destroy their equipment, and we want to see everybody back every
Yeah,
day.
you said you don't sleep at night worrying about wrecks and stuff
I
like
don't,
that. Yeah.
I don't. It bothers me, and like the night of the race, I don't eat, I don't drink, I don't. It's just tough. I just
Yeah,
want.
it's like that. Yeah, I can't eat all day. Yeah,
After
I
I
was so hungry.
I know. I watch you
All
guys-
day, yeah,
I watch
just,
you guys drink
like
beer
that.
after the race. I see what it's all about.
Yeah.
But no, for sure, it's about making sure everybody goes home safe. You know, there's a lot of young kids out there racing. There's
Yeah.
14-year-olds,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and you just want everybody to go home safe, and you want equipment to be not destroyed, and they
Right.
can't come out the next Wednesday. So we do everything we possibly can to make that track mint.
Yeah.
And I know we get races and we
Right.
get ruts, and
Wow.
it
Oh,
happens
yeah.
at every
Yeah,
track.
it's hard. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
here's another question. What's your ideal track?
Well, I like it tacky
Yeah,
and smooth and tacky.
Right.
Unfortunately, the type of clay we have, the two don't mix. If you make it too tacky, you'll see it'll start to roll on us. It's just the kind of gumbo we have. And then if you make it hard and slick, well, then people say it's follow the leader type racing. So this year, one thing we're going to try to do is probably create a ridge up on the top of the track, about 3 feet out from the wall. Create a second,
Yeah.
second groove. I mean, I saw a lot
Danny
of
Young mentioned that last week on the
Yeah,
show.
Well, the last year or two, you've been getting better and better with going out before each feature, watering the top, and the tops really came in feature time. I found anyway, so.
Yeah.
Well, that A-Mod feature at the end,
Right.
with Kane, Kaw,
Yep.
all them right on the top. That was something else.
And you'll see how it changes throughout the season too, because as we get into fall racing, you get a lot of the dew.
Yeah, then it comes
right.
back.
So then all of a sudden, all of a sudden you didn't even put
As
any
soon as that
water.
sun goes down, all of a sudden.
So it
Yeah.
changes all the time, so we're learning too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're a new track, and so we're trying to read, what to do, when to do it, and
Yeah, it's a weird track surface, actually. It hasn't taken
No.
over.
it is.
Like, it's very, it's a different one.
Any word on a scoreboard?
Actually, so we were looking into a scoreboard, and I probably went one step too far. We wanted to have a big jumbotron in the middle to see, but anyways, by the time we got a price, it was 200,000 American, a little further than what we wanted to go at this stage. So we are looking at putting just like the tower type.
Yep.
Chrissy, who's our manager, track, worker, she is looking into getting some prices. I'm hoping to get it up and running this year. So yeah, we're hoping to have a scoreboard. The problem is the guys that are fast are real fast, and they start lapping, and the older people don't know who's in first either. So we want to try to help everybody. So we're hoping to get one in this year for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
that was a great night. We'd
Lots
like
of
to thank
info.
both guys. Lots of info.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Keep up the good work,
Yeah,
and
thanks.
like I said, it's helping the community, it's helping the track, it's helping the drivers for you guys getting the information out. So I'm really, really happy you guys are doing this. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Norm.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thanks,
Till
guys.
next week, John.
Stay dirty.